We've all seen horror movies, and before they start with demonic possessions or dolls that have a life of their own, we can always see objects moving by themselves. This is one of the main ingredients they all have in common. But what happens when this occurs in everyday life? It's scary to be at home and to see something moving by itself, don't you think? Well, that's exactly what happens in the videos we're going to show you next. If you're an impressionable person, it's better for you to stop watching this video alone, because the image you'll see next can make anyone's skin crawl with fear. But if you're ready, join us and watch these 5 mysterious objects caught moving on camera. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5, the haunted cabinet. YouTube tutorials are very common. Practically everyone has watched this kind of video in order to get some help to improve their culinary skills, their math grades, or even to learn how to play a musical instrument. There are many skillful people who are willing to share their knowledge through this platform, but not so many witness something paranormal while recording. Unfortunately, the man in the following video got a good scare while trying to explain something to his followers. He was standing in front of the camera. Now, if you look at what's happening behind him, you can see that the door of the kitchen cabinet is open. While he starts talking, the door closes suddenly, and we assume it's because of the wind, and this man jumps because of the scare. He even turns around and goes to the cabinet to check it out. We imagine he did it in the hope of finding a loose hinge or maybe something else like that. But to his misfortune, it's in perfect condition. The worst of all is that he says that during the recording he was alone in his home, and this makes everything more terrifying. We understand that's probably why he got scared when he heard the door close behind him. Many are the times a cabinet gets closed because of the wind, but here there are no windows nearby, and it's obvious the door is not so light as to close in such a strong way just because of a breeze. Maybe the ghost living in this home has an OCD and couldn't stand the idea of the cabinet door being open, so it decided to solve a problem by itself. There are those who always look for a logical explanation of everything. But honestly, in this video, there isn't much to explain. It's undeniable that something very strange happened here, and due to the expression of fear and confusion in this man's face, we imagine he's also aware that something very strange is happening in his home. From now on, this man is going to wait for his family to be at home whenever he wants to record videos for his channel. If it happened once, what's to say that it won't happen again? The worst part is that once something like this happens, anything is going to make you jump. We guess going to get a glass of water at night should be quite an odyssey for this guy going forward. Number 4, a ghost in the piñata store. The piñata stores or party stores are those places we go to when we have a gathering with friends at home. There, we can find everything we need to have a good time. Whistles, costumes, funny glasses, and of course objects that move on their own. Although we're sure the last one isn't on anyone's shopping list. The following video doesn't have the best resolution, because it was recorded by a security camera, but what you need to see is perfectly clear and it's quite scary. If it's scary for us, we can't imagine how it was for the poor guy who was doing the shopping for his next party. When the video starts, everything seems quite normal. This man is choosing some things he's sure he needs to have a good time. He's so focused on his buying that he doesn't realize there's something on the floor moving on its own right next to him. If you haven't noticed it either, you just have to look a little to the right. There's a package that seems to have a life of its own on the floor. Did you see it yet? 2 of the packages that are right next to this man begin to move a little more than just a few inches, but he still doesn't notice anything. Suddenly the lights flicker and several things fall from the shelf. At last he realizes, turns around and runs off as fast as he can. This is one of the most honest reactions we've ever seen. This man has sure seen several horror movies before, and he knows perfectly well that investigating what's happening here is never the best option. This video is really creepy. In one moment, you're relaxed doing some shopping, and the other, you're running for your life. We don't know what happened to this man, but we're sure he won't go back into that store anymore. We can't honestly blame him either, because what he experienced was very strange and would scare anyone. It also seems the spirit of the store really wanted to be noticed because it wasn't satisfied with just moving a couple of packages. Instead, it went for everything and threw a whole shelf. So, you know it's not a good idea to ignore something paranormal because things may level up and you may end up like this poor guy, running as far as possible. Number 3, the Closet of Terror. If you saw the movie Annabelle, you know having weird-looking dolls nearby isn't a very good idea. But the star of the following video doesn't think so. In fact, Not only is there a strange doll, but a whole closet full of stuffed animals and toys that honestly seem to be part of a cast of a horror movie. For some reason we don't know, this guy is at home making a video, and in the background you can see all the ugly dolls he has. As if this wasn't enough, as he talks, he grabs an old ugly doll and starts talking as he holds it between his hands. But don't focus too much on that. Keep your eyes on the big rag doll that he has in the background, because it's thanks to her that this video is in our countdown today. While the man is still talking, the doll suddenly falls to the floor. Everything happens very fast, and it seems that it was a simple accident, but it wasn't. To begin, this man is sitting next to a window with curtains, and we can realize that even though there's a small air current, it's not strong enough to knock down the doll, because the doll looks quite heavy. The other thing you have to notice is that before the doll falls, it begins to move its legs, and that's when it falls to the ground. This is what's really creepy, but you couldn't expect less from a closet full of terrifying dolls. We assume this man won't leave the glass door open again, because we already know what can happen if he gets distracted around these dolls. The worst part is that it seems that this man is a fan of collecting these scary dolls, because honestly it's not normal to enter a house and find a collection as peculiar as the one this man has. We don't know if it's a collection of possessed dolls, or if he just feels attracted to this kind of toy. Whatever it may be, we think it's best to do a garage sale to get rid of that pile of frightening toys as soon as possible, and let other people take the scare into their own hands. Would you dare to buy any of these? Or would you prefer to avoid any risk and sleep peacefully knowing that no rag doll is going to be making strange movements around your home? Number 2, there is a ghost in the store. The following video shows strange things can happen anywhere, and it's not necessary for it to be nighttime so something spooky can occur. Here the objects move on their own in broad daylight and leave speechless whoever witnessed what you're about to see next. The owner of this place says strange things happen there all the time, and that she often feels as a presence watching each one of her movements. All of us, at least once, have felt that someone was watching us. Imagine this, it's a dark night and there's a dark corner in your room, and you feel like someone could be seeing everything you do while you think you're alone. Well, it's not strange to feel that way, and it's even less weird after seeing a good horror movie of those that keep you up all night. Now imagine feeling the same but during the day. The confidence daylight brings is gone. The lights are at their maximum power, so if something strange happens, the only solution would be to run away. But we'll stop talking now. Let's see what happened in this store. Can you see the glass objects on the table? Well, that's where you need to focus all of your attention. One of the bowls suddenly begins to move and goes straight to the floor, where it ends up crashing and breaking into hundreds of pieces. There is no way to explain with logic what happened here. You can't blame it on the wind, because unless it's a hurricane, there's no way something heavy would fall just because of a breeze. Nor can it be said that a small strip of nylon made it fall to the floor, because, once again, we say this object is pretty heavy for something like that to have happened. Definitely this is something that doesn't happen in normal conditions, and we're sure something mysterious and dark is underlying it. Obviously frightened by the noise, the owner goes out to see what happened, and the only thing she finds is her shop empty and alone, with a broken object on the floor. That's just plain out scary. Number 1, the possessed doll. Well, there's obviously something about dolls that always ends up being part of the internet. That's mostly because they move or do strange things no one can explain. The one we'll see next isn't the exception. The video certainly takes away the desire of having one of these strange dolls in our home. The person who recorded this video says he did it because many times he had the feeling this doll was moving at night. Let's see. If someone has the feeling something that shouldn't move is actually moving, the best thing may not be to record it. In fact, the most logical thing would be to throw it away once and for all. But hey, people out there are weird, right? Maybe this person decided to record this before throwing the doll to have the proper evidence that he wasn't going crazy. In the video you can see the doll sitting on a chair. Scary enough as it is, don't you think? Well, as the video progresses, it seems nothing strange will happen. But suddenly, this creepy doll begins to raise one of its arms. My God, is it scary. But as if that wasn't enough, after moving the arm, the doll moves its head and is practically facing the camera. Seeing this, I'm sure he'll throw the doll out. Well, hopefully he did, because having a doll moving on its own like that isn't what we can call a dream. Although we don't know what happened with the doll, what we do know is that after watching this video, you won't want to have one of these at home. And if by chance you do have one and you suspect it does strange things at night, don't wait to have it on video. It's better to throw it away right now, but with kindness and in a nice box. We don't know if the doll gets angry and would go after you looking for revenge because you threw her out in a dirty box. Hope you enjoyed the video, Top 5ers. If you haven't already, check out our other channel, Americano to enjoy even more amazing list videos. There'll be a link in the description, so check it out.